For those of you who are interested and have the motivation and I guess the discipline as well to sit down and learn to read notation on the guitar, in other words, to read notes on the treble clef and actually read real music, I guess we'll call it. Guitar has become so much, so many guitar players use tablature and play by ear and learn by videos and things like that. But there are a lot of benefits to learning the note reading. It opens up a lot in terms of understanding, and it's really not that bad once you get rolling. So I just want to give you a bit of an idea of where you're going to find the notes. In most of the beginner books that you will find, the traditional guitar level 1 books, they will take you through things one string at a time, and they're generally starting with the thinnest string. Okay, so they will give you the first 3 notes on the first string being the open E, the first finger F, and the third finger 3rd fret G. Okay, and then they'll give you a couple of songs to play around with those notes in different orders. Okay. The second string follows a similar, well, not similar, but the exact same finger pattern. So you've got the open B, the second string, you've got the first finger C, and you've got the third finger D, okay? And once you start to get comfortable with those ones, then you combine them with the first string and you can make up melodies that are maybe a little more complex. And so it goes. The third string is a little unique. It only has 2 notes. We have G and A, okay, because we're limited. It's actually our second finger that plays the second fret for the A. So we've got open and second finger for the third string. So just to sort of recap the notes on the first string, E, F, and G, open first and third. Second string, B, C, and D, open first and third. Third string, G and A, just the open and the 2. Fourth, one extra note in terms of, pardon the pun, one extra note. The sharps and the flats you will find in between the other notes. Okay, so these are like the black keys on a piano. If I take an F, which is my first finger on the first fret, and I move to the second finger, 2nd fret, okay, it's like an in-between note, so we would call that F raised up or F sharp. If I similarly take the G, which is the third finger on that string, and I take it back to the 2nd fret, okay, I can call that G flat or G lowered down. So that second finger note doesn't really have a name of its own. It borrows its name from either side. So again, F can be raised up to F sharp, okay? G can be lowered down to G flat. The guitar doesn't care what you call it. Your fingers don't care what you call it. Your ear doesn't care what you call it. But in the musical notation, sometimes we'll refer to it as a sharp, and sometimes we'll refer to it as a flat. Okay, and that's a little bit about the notes in open position. Well, hello, and welcome back to the whiteboard for all the wonderful technology that we have this day and age. This is still one of my favorites. I used to use a chalkboard, if truth be told, but I guess we've upgraded a little bit. Anyways, I want to talk to you briefly about the music staff as far as guitar playing is concerned. Give you just a little overview, beginner overview, if you will, of the staff and how things work. Okay, so I'm going to try and draw 5 straight lines. And I'm going to draw one of these funny looking things at the beginning of it. Okay, probably the most recognized musical symbol. This is called the treble clef. What a lot of people don't realize, it can also be called the G clef. Because with a little imagination, you could maybe see that as a capital G. Okay? And the secret to the treble clef, or the G clef, is the fact that as it comes down and circles around the second line from the bottom here, it identifies this second line from the bottom as being a G. Okay? That's what the treble clef does. That's its job, is to basically fix that line as a G. Okay? Now, speaking of famous things in music, probably the most famous saying is the "every good boy deserves fudge." So we get every good boy deserves fudge, or fun. So we're talking here about the lines on the staff. Okay, so we're dealing with an E, a G, a B, a D, and an F. And we're working from the bottom up, and so again, that's saying every good boy deserves fudge. Now, in between each of the lines, we have F, A, C, and E. Okay? And many people remember or recognize that from the bottom up, with a soft C, spells face. Okay? So many people are quite happy to remember the sayings and sort of go from there. What I want you to be aware of, or what I want you to look at, is how if I think about starting from the E here on the bottom, and I move, instead of line to line, from line to space to line to space to line, I've got E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Ultimately, above the staff, I have a G. And if I want to think about going backwards or down underneath, if my bottom line is my E, if I move down underneath the staff here, that's our D. I think of it as being D down under. Okay? So, in summary, as far as that idea is concerned, the treble clef, the G clef, okay, sets the G line. Every good boy deserves fun or fudge. And face, F-A-C-E, for the spaces. But most important of all, in my opinion, as you move up the staff, you're moving up the alphabet. As you're moving down the staff, you're moving backwards. Okay? A little tip for you starting out, practice your musical alphabet backwards. Okay? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Start on B, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B. Start on C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Okay? When you can't sleep at night, when you're stuck in traffic, but maybe not while driving, just run those cycles, okay? And the more fluently that you can think in terms of the backwards alphabet especially, the easier the reading process will be. Okay, so I've taken a moment to draw my 5 straight lines, as straight as I can get them. I've got my treble or my G clef at the beginning. I'm going to lay out the thinnest 3 strings for you, okay? So basically what we're going to look at is we're going to look at second line from the bottom and space. I'm going to put a line here. Middle line, second or third space. Next line. The top 3. So basically, when we look at this, we're going to be starting from a G. We're thinking of every good boy deserves fudge, so we've got a G. And if you notice, line to space to line to space to line to space to line to space. So I'm simply walking up the staff, one small step at a time. That means that I start my alphabet again on A. I get B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay? In terms of the guitar, and I talked about this a little when I was doing the guitar discussion, the G is open. The A is the 2nd fret. Okay? And these guys are on the 3rd string. A little note here. These lines are not, I repeat, these lines are not guitar strings. Okay? When you're looking at tablature, which is something we'll talk about in another discussion, each of the lines represents a string on the guitar. This system of notation, musical notation, is universal. Okay? In other words, I can play these notes on a piano. I could play these notes on a trumpet, if I knew how to play a trumpet. These are not specifically designed for guitar. They're a letter system and a tone system that is used universally. Okay? So whatever you do, don't look at this note and say, hey, well, this note's on the 3rd line, okay, from the top or from the bottom. That was backwards. From the top or from the bottom. Don't look at this and say, okay, it's on the 3rd line. That must be the 3rd string, okay, because it'll lead you astray. So the G and the A are the open and the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. The B, C, D, open, 1st and 3rd on the 2nd string. Okay. E, F, and G up on the top, open, 1st and 3rd on the 1st or the thinnest string. Okay? In addition to the notes moving up the alphabet, okay, the notes are moving up in pitch. If you compare the open 3rd string to the 2nd fret, moving to the second string, open first and third, moving to the first string, open first and third, the notes, as you move across those notes or as you move through them, the pitch is moving higher and higher. So the higher that a note is on the staff, the higher its sound or its pitch, and the opposite, lower the note is on the staff, the lower the pitch. A little note for any of you who have played piano and are looking at the guitar as a second instrument, or if you are maybe using piano books and you're trying to play some things on guitar. Guitar is played an octave lower than written, okay? Now, I always have to think about this for a moment because when you play this C on a piano, okay, and I have a piano right here that you can't see, but if I play that C, okay, it's what we refer to maybe as high C on the piano. It's got a fairly high sound to it, okay? Yet, if you directly compare the note that you play on the guitar, which is the first fret on the second string, you will find that that actually matches what we refer to as middle C on the piano. So, in other words, this C that we're reading and playing on guitar, okay, is really the equivalent when you play piano. You would be playing a note, and let's draw it in between here. This is what we refer to as middle C. On piano. So we are reading a high C on the guitar, and we're actually producing what we refer to as a middle C in piano. Okay? Use your ear, compare the notes if you have the access to a keyboard or to a piano. Check that out. Again, guitar, and this applies as well to bass guitar. For those of you looking at bass guitar, the sound that's produced when we play on the guitar is an octave lower than what's written in the music. Okay, thanks for watching.